meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is now called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the state of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the press of Atlantic City, mailed to the Current and the Hamilton Gazette, has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. We'll begin with our prayer.
Almighty God, we ask thee to grant us the wisdom to walk in thy light and the courage to accept responsibilities placed upon us. Guide us by thy truth, uphold us by thy power, and grant that thy presence may ever be with us. Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Ballas?
Here.
Martino?
Here.
Horsey?
Present.
Days?
Here.
Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Gatto?
Here.
Kern?
Here.
Parker?
Present.
Grizzly?
Here. We've all been given a copy of the minutes of our meeting of the 7th. Everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Thank you. Been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes of February 7th. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Abstain.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes. Anyone that would like to speak during our public comments session, please come to the podium, state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you are attending virtually, please type yes and the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You will be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and the town you reside. We'll begin our meeting with our ordinances. Clerk, please read ordinance number 1.
Ordinance amending County Code Chapter 97 entitled Parks concerning John F. Gaffney Green Free Golf Course, final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Parker. Discussion?
So Chair, just to remind the public, for final reading, this is to increase our fees just by a couple of dollars to keep up with the increasing expenses, but still keeping us lower in the county than most courses.
Thank you. Yes, we've discussed this pretty thoroughly. Any other discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll. Sorry, public comment? None, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes. Please read ordinance number 2.
Ordinance establishing mid-block crosswalks on Summers Point Mays Landing Road, AKA River Road, County Route 617, and Farragut Avenue, County Route 660 in the Township of Hamilton, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. There's no public comment on the first reading of this ordinance. Any comments by the public? No, I'm sorry. Any comments by the governing body? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes. Moving into resolutions, please read resolution number 74. It's a grant.
Amending Resolution Number 329 adopted June 21, 2022, a grant application to the New Jersey Office of Emergency Management Performance, Federal Emergency Management Agency for the federal fiscal year 22 Emergency Management Performance Grant, Emergency Management Agency Assistance. Funded amount $55,000, county in-kind match $55,000.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Kern, seconded by Commissioner Days. Any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes. Please read number 75.
Grant application and acceptance from the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Office of the Attorney General for the state fiscal year 2023 Law Enforcement Officers Training and Equipment Fund, amount not to exceed $11,962.
so
So
moved,
moved.
Moved by Commissioner Kern, seconded by Commissioner Ballas, I believe. Discussion. Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read number 76.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety for the 2023 Atlantic County Click It or Ticket campaign, amount not to exceed $63,000.
Moved.
second,
Moved by Commissioner Bertino, seconded by Commissioner Kern. Any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read number 77.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety for the 2023 Atlantic County Distracted Driving Campaign, amount not to exceed $68,000.
second,
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read number 78.
Grant application and acceptance from the State of New Jersey Department of Community Affairs through the Local Efficiency Achievement Program County Coordinator Fellowship Grant to be used for the salary of a fellow to identify and advance share service opportunities. Funded amount $75,000. County in-kind match $49,500.
Second.
second,
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Parker. Discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes. Number 78. I'm sorry, 79.
Cost reimbursement subaward agreement with Rowan University for funding from the COVID-19 vaccination program grant for use of the Hope One Mobile Recovery Unit for mobile COVID-19 vaccination events. Amount not to exceed $60,000.
so moved,
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kern, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Hearing none. Public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, moving into our professional services agreements, please read number 80.
Amending Resolution Number 638 adopted December 15, 2020, a professional services agreement with Pannoni Associates Incorporated to provide engineering and inspection services associated with the resurfacing of Tilton Road, Section 5, County Route 563 and Washington Avenue, Section 3, County Route 608 in Egg Harbor Township to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Extended term date only. Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, please read number 81.
Professional services agreement with various counselors and nurses to provide substance abuse services for the 12-hour and 48-hour intoxicated driver resource center, amount not to exceed $39,152.
so moved,
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kern, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Coursey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes. Number 82, please.
Professional services agreement with John Brooks Recovery Center to operate a recovery center, amount not to exceed $60,000.
Moved.
second,
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes. Number 83, please.
Professional services agreement with various vendors for alcohol and drug prevention, education, and treatment services, amount not to exceed $583,001.
second,
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Public comment? Call the roll, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, moving into our competitive contracts, number 84.
Amending resolution number 74 adopted on February 15, 2022, a competitive contract with Mercadian PC for the provision of auditing services, net increase $9,000.
second,
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Any discussion? We're very familiar with this company. We've used it many times successfully. Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, bid contracts, number 85.
Renewal bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver kitchen and catering supplies to the Atlantic County Cooperative, amount not to exceed $100,025.13.
second,
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Kern. Discussion? Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes, number 86.
Bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver food requirements to the Department of Human Services, amount not to exceed $346,085.70.
So
so
moved.
moved,
Moved by Commissioner Kern, second by Commissioner Ballas. Discussion? Hearing none, any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly.
Yes. Number 87, please.
Bid contract with South State Incorporated for the resurfacing of Zion Road, County Route 615, Section 4, Cedar Bridge, EH10 to Mill Road, County Route 662, in the city of Northfield, amount not to exceed $2,005,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, second by Commissioner Gatto. And this is a hallelujah. We're all happy to see this. Any comments? Any Commissioner Ballas?
Yes. Jerry, I guess we'll go to our engineer. Is there any way we can extend that from Cedar Bridge all the way to Bargaintown? I mean, as soon as you cross over Bargaintown on Zion, it's really, really bad. Unless we're just gonna repair that and then hit that section from Cedar Bridge to Mill.
Well, I mean, we could ask him, I mean, as far as I know, this was the piece that we're doing now. I mean,
Exactly.
there may be some work that we do once the state finishes their work, and the state's still doing their work, but.
But the state's on the other side.
Yeah,
like
but
you're
that's
talking
what I'm
about.
saying, that's what you're asking for, to go further up, right?
Just to Bargaintown or Fire
Oh,
Road,
okay.
whatever you wanna call it. As soon as you cross over, if you're coming into, going towards
So you're
Northfield,
going from Cedar Bridge to Bargaintown.
going from Cedar Bridge to Bargaintown
That's
Road.
right.
Yeah, that section there, the section between the bridge and Bargaintown Road, it's atrocious.
Why don't I just do this? I'll meet with those guys and
That's
see
fine.
whether or not we could add it on, okay?
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna be out there anyway, it just makes sense.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
through you, so Jerry, I'm a little confused. If we did a bid,
Right,
so the bid already went out for the work.
that's correct.
So what should happen is now they need to go to Roads and Bridges
Right.
Committee. I mean, sometimes it's cheaper if they're already on the road, I get that part. But if not, we're gonna have to go out to bid again anyway. But, I mean, we did it on Old Turnpike Road when we put $500,000 worth of piping in the ground. We got lucky because the company was there. If in fact that's a way to do it. If not, it's been before Road and Bridges Committee already. So it would be an amendment, I'm sure, but the question really becomes how much more?
Exactly, it could be a change order. I mean, the length of the road is,
Yes,
from
sir.
here to to their front door. So we're not talking about, a couple miles. We're talking about feet.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yeah, just to add to the commissioner's discussion, there are opportunities, as you guys know. We do have a bid contract that's out for when we have little sections of road that we want to be able to do something. This may qualify for that type of a project where we get the same unit costs, everything, the contractor's out there. We don't need all the permitting that may qualify for something like that if the extension's not there too far. So it might be, we may not have to go out and rebid that particular section is what I'm saying. So
Is there a cap on it?
I think our
Is there a
guys.
percentage that you can go over?
No, I think it's an emergency contract on emergency paving, if it's deemed such while we're out there because of whatever, if it fits. I mean, that's where, our public works guys and the engineers gotta see if that fits into our contract.
What's the percent change order that you would approve? That's the
But it may not be that much, it depends on
It
the
may not
footage
be.
you're going, so I don't know how much it's gonna be. When they look at, as long as there's no drainage work, there's no curb work, I don't know what that piece entails.
No, I know,
So,
I know. But
so
you
the
can
other
get it,
issue-
you'll get it, you'll get it.
So the other issue was this: when they went out and did the original site visit, why wasn't that never considered anyway? I mean, it's water under the bridge, but it's just like we're going backwards when we could have just one lump sum, but probably won't cost that much money.
Well,
Next
that'll
time,
be my
keep up on
discussion.
roads and bridges, you'll know it's
That'll
gonna
be my
be.
discussion with them.
If
Say it
it's a-
again, Jerry?
That'll be my discussion with the engineering people.
Why they broke off.
Direction, whatever.
Yeah, why you broke off at that, you didn't go intersection to intersection, I don't know, with the piece you're talking to, if they ended an intersection or not, just to go an additional few feet, I don't.
Right. Well, I mean, it's fine from Cedar Bridge to the bridge,
I got it.
but from the bridge, the little bridge there, right where the little Veterans Monument is, that piece of grass there,
Right.
you come across there and there's potholes all over the place. It's real bad.
Jerry will follow up on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes, please read Resolution 88.
Bid contract with Ocean Construction Limited Liability Corporation for concrete sidewalk installation at the Atlantic County Stillwater Building and a 2-year maintenance and repair contract, amount not to exceed $117,900.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kern, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes, please read number 89.
Bid contract with All Vinyl Fencing to provide installation of fencing at Estelle Manor Park and a 2-year miscellaneous maintenance and repair contract, amount not to exceed $109,607.50.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes. Please read number 90, change order.
Change order number 1, a contract with Think Pavers Hardscaping Limited Liability Corporation for the resurfacing of Old Tilton Road, County Route 687 in Egg Harbor Township, and the City of Pleasantville to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Parker. Discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes, number 91, please.
Amending Resolution Number 570, adopted on October 18, 2022, a funding agreement between Atlantic City Electric Company and the Atlantic County Workforce Development Board for a no-cost scope of work amendment.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Kern. Discussion? Hearing none, public comment? Call the roll, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes. Before we move into our appointments, I'd just like to say that I know there's a lot of folks here. We're moving as quickly as we can through the agenda. I know you want to speak at a point in time. I just want you to know that these resolutions have all been thoroughly vetted by us and through committees. And that's why it may look that we go through these resolutions rather quickly. We do that because we've already done the homework. So moving on with the next section, appointments, and we're always grateful for those who have decided to volunteer their time to this county. And we have a number of appointments. We're going to do this all at one time. So I will entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 92 through 96.
Move. Second.
Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Gatto, second by Commissioner Corsi. Any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to number 97, a roadway solicitation.
Authorizing consent for a roadway solicitation event by Absecon VFW 9462 at the intersection of Mill Road, County Route 651 and New Jersey Avenue, County Route 601, in the city of Absecon on Saturday, May 20th, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kern, second by Commissioner Gatto. Discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes. We have two commissioner-sponsored resolutions. Number 98, please.
Resolution in support of Senate Bill 3423, seeking to extend the mandatory retirement age for New Jersey judges from 70 to 75. Sponsor Ernest D. Corsi.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, second by Commissioner Kern. Mr. Corsi, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. The resolution is self-explanatory. It's very clear, as you all know, that we always have a judge shortage, not only in the Atlantic County, but across the state of New Jersey. And it's always hard to get backfill judges, whether they're, what do you call them, callback judges or not, because of the age of 70, and the state wants to move it to 75, which a lot of those judges, well, I'm not gonna say a lot, a number of them probably would stay, but because they're maxed out at 70, they get out of the way. And if you notice around the state of New Jersey, all these judgeships have been vacant so long, probably a lot of them would not be vacant if in fact they were not mandatory to leave at 70. So it's just a resolution supporting the Senate, moving the age requirement up to 75 from 70. That is no indication that any of these commissioners can stay here until they're 75. But the fact of the matter is that the judges play a major role. Listen, a lot of these judges give up partnerships and judge law firms to become judges, and then they max out. I think they're now moving the process where the judges are making a halfway decent salary. And if you have good judges, you don't want to see them leave because they've reached the maximum age of 70. So additional 5 years, I think it helps everybody across the state of New Jersey. I thought it was a good resolution to put forward. So I certainly ask you for your support with a no vote. Okay, that's my pitch.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, just a real quick kind of tangential point. I see our senator here. I think our senator has been instrumental in trying to move forward judge appointments and specifically to have, judges coming from the South Jersey area. And I think that's really important to make sure we have representation on the bar. So thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Commissioner. I was going to mention, we do not have any vacancies in Atlanta.
I was going to say.
Staff here at Work Bench. Worked very hard last year to get that.
Yes, you have, and we
Thank you.
appreciate it. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Any other discussion? Any public comment? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley.
Yes. Resolution number 99, please.
Resolution in support of an immediate moratorium on offshore wind development projects pending an investigation. Sponsors Richard R. Days and Frank X. Ballas.
Vote moved. Second. Motion by Commissioner Ballas, second by Commissioner Days. Discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Days?
Thank you. So I understand, upfront that there's a lot of noise on both sides of this issue. There are a lot of jobs that are coming along with this project and auxiliary industries as well. This resolution is in response to the large number of whale deaths that we've seen in the last 6 weeks or so, since December 1st. There are now 10 on the coast of New York and New Jersey, up to 20 or more if you look at the entire East Coast. And I've been trying to educate myself on this issue. I've attended public meetings they've had in Brigantine. They've been very well attended. I've done my own research. And I know people say that there's been a definitive answer. I haven't, other than, BOEM and other people, NOAA, saying that, they're not being affected by any research or preparation for the turbines. In my research, I haven't seen any science that has been done since these whales have been washing up. There's an organization called the Wildlife and Offshore Wind Initiative. It's Duke University is leading that up. I've checked out their website. They're still studying this as far as I know. In fact, there's a woman named Sarah Wilkins in a CNN article. She's a coordinator of the Marine Mammal Health and Stranding Response Program for NOAA Fisheries Office of Protected Resources. She said, we want to know the answers. It's been a period of several years where we've had elevated strandings of large whales, but we're still concerned about the pulse over the past 6 weeks or so. And that's what this is in response to. What's happened pretty much since December 1st. I've said at a previous meeting that I'm not a marine biologist, but I did grow up in Atlantic County. I've been probably going to Brigantine Beach since I could walk or earlier than that. And in my recollection, this is unprecedented. So that's all this is asking for is let's try to figure out what's going on. This is in response to a lot of inquiries that I've received. I know 2 of the towns in my district alone have passed a similar resolution. And, I'm doing what's been asked of me and then trying to get some answers. And again, it's not a permanent moratorium. It's asking that an investigation be done and we could hopefully get some answers.
Any other discussion on the governing body?
Mr. Chair.
Faust?
Yeah, also just to echo what Commissioner Days spoke on, this is something where we're looking at a pause, as Senator Palestina calls it, until there's some answers as to what's going on. It's unprecedented to have that many whales wash up this often in this area. And just because we're seeing whales wash up on our beaches, that doesn't mean that's the number of whales that are dying. Most whales, when they die, they're out in the ocean and they sink to the bottom of the ocean. So we're not seeing all of the whales that actually die. Today, I received a phone call from a gentleman from Atlantic Shores Wind, offshore wind. We spoke for a little while and had some conversation about the meetings that, took place in Brigantine and the lack of their attendance there. And basically his answer was, they do have, scientists, they have answers, but they were invited after the meeting. Although what I understood was they were invited before the meeting, but that's not here nor there. Supposedly they're willing to come to one of our commission meetings with their scientists and provide whatever data that they have. I would also hope that they would provide that data to our Senate and Assembly office, and not just here in Atlantic County, but all of the Senate and Assembly offices that represent Atlantic County, Cape May County, Ocean County, anywhere along the shore where this is happening, and whether our senator has can convene a Senate hearing on what's going on with it. We're not against the idea of having offshore wind, but I think there's some answers that need to be had. I thought it was very interesting, the information that was brought forward from a attorney that came and spoke. I believe he was from Long Beach Island, who read the 4,000 pages of the document from Atlantic Shores. And, in that document, it basically says that the federal government gives them and these are his words, whether it's true or not, who knows, they're allowed to get exactly what he said, but basically they can interrupt the marine life in the ocean to a certain extent. What that extent is, who knows? That's what's happening? The sonar or the drilling or whatever is going on out there that we can't see. We don't know. So until we can get some answers, we would just like, well, of course, we would like to get the support to pass this resolution. I know it's not our call. We can't make a decision that's on the federal level. But I know I've been contacted by many, many, many residents of Atlantic County that don't like what's going on. I've seen probably 600 or so people at the Brigantine School for that presentation. Not all were there in against wind energy. Not all were there that were for it. But it's just to get some information. I mean, we realize that reality is that there's going to be a wind farm out in the ocean. But if it's going to hurt our ocean. We only have one. You can't. It's not like building a house and you don't like it, you can tear it down. If our ocean gets ruined, we can't replace it. So until some real definitive answers can move forward, and that could be, who knows? It could be weeks or it could be months. But until there's some real information as to what's going on, I personally would like to see the pause and hear some more information. That's all I have.
Anyone else in the governing body like to speak?
Chairman. So I attended the February 11th Information Center information session at the Brigantine Community School. And it's my perception that opposing viewpoints were allowed to be offered just after just about everyone had left. The Long Beach Island attorney that Commissioner Ballas noted, Chris Placitella, specializes in class action lawsuits. I've heard a lot of people say, no one told us this was happening. Orsted spent 2 years going up and down the coast from Ocean County to Atlantic County doing grassroots educational sessions. I attended one at the Summers Point Youth Center with about 10 other people. It doesn't get any more grassroots than that. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, verified these deaths are not associated with offshore wind. They've been attributed to boat strikes and redistribution of food sources due to warming water from climate change. Labor issues on the West Coast have redirected container ships to the East Coast, ports of New York and New Jersey, increasing the traffic on the East Coast. A peer-reviewed study published in last March in the International Council for Exploration of the Sea Journal of Marine Science analyzed Rhode Island's Block Island offshore wind farm, and the study concluded Rhode Island offshore wind farm had no impact on marine life. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for Atlantic County and southern New Jersey. We have been left out of a lot of development because of the location where we live. Our population actually decreased from 2010 to 2020, while the state grew 6% and 7%. We need a new industry to bring people to Atlantic County and the region to share the burden of running the county. We currently have to live with austerity measures because the fixed costs of living here are shared by too small of a population. The Atlantic County Economic Alliance has shown a strong interest in offshore wind, not just as an economic catalyst in and of itself, but how it complements aviation. The cargo capacity of the Atlantic City Airport, a key economic driver in the region, can support offshore wind. The proposed aircraft maintenance facility aligns with offshore wind because the skills to repair turbines are similar to those used to repair aircraft engines. In total, $150 billion will be invested in New Jersey, with thousands of construction jobs followed by permanent jobs. Atlantic Cape Community College was awarded $2.9 million to build the Atlantic City Training Program, and supporting that facility is the first in the state and will allow New Jersey to strengthen its leadership position in offshore wind energy. ACIT received $1.5 million for offshore wind career development. Yesterday, a quick search of the internet showed wind turbine jobs available, $16 to $41 an hour, or $52,000 to $133,000 a year. It's estimated that New Jersey's clean energy transition will result in an average of about 11,000 more jobs per year between 2025 and 2050 than would be created without it. It's estimated that the state's energy policies would generate $34 billion in economic activity through 2050. The New Jersey Work Environment Council said the job gains outpaced the losses by 6.6 times and are good paying, less hazardous jobs. In 2015, Jeff Van Drew wholeheartedly supported offshore wind. Yet last week he pressed not for a pause, but a stop of the project. I asked him directly, and he said yes, that's what he wanted. I said, Salem County is already seeing their residents benefit by building one of the turbine manufacturing plant. The wind port alone, EDA officials say, will create more than 1,000 permanent jobs. It's been 75 years since Salem County had viable industry. These people need these jobs, and they're not far away. That's part of our region. They're our neighbors. Out of 100 offshore wind jobs, 41 are manufacturing, 17 are management, 13 are installation and repair. The New Jersey wind port is expected to support up to $500 million of new economic activity within the state and the region each year. What we should be doing is slowing container ship speeds and limiting the number of ships going along our coast, not stopping what will help slow the sea level rise and increase ocean temperatures. I just want to say, if y'all were so interested in environmental issues 5 years ago, they asked us, Pat Concrete Foundation asked us not to drink in plastic. So there we go.
There you go.
Well, you know, this all started out
Order,
as,
please, order.
pardon me, I'm talking.
Please, please.
This all started out as a problem with the view from the beach. And then we started having,
Sir, you'll have your opportunity to talk to your selectors, speak. You will
Please.
certainly have your opportunity.
then we started having these tragic whale deaths. And it seems like the community latched onto that as a way to move their program forward. You cannot
Sir.
interrupt me.
Please. Not gonna ask you again, please.
Chairman,
One
I'm
at a time.
finished. Thank you.
Any other members of the governing body like to speak? Commissioner Bertino.
Mr. Chair. There's absolutely no doubt that the financial impact of putting the windmills off the shore is going to be a financial boom to whoever may be making money on it. It's a money-making project. The resolution that we're considering today is not asking for it to stop because we have no control to do that. Everyone understands that. The project has been approved. It's done at the state level. The Board of Public Utilities makes all the decisions based on that, and it takes away and supersedes local jurisdiction and local comment. You guys all know that. And it was done intentionally because you probably would never want to have it in your area. But it doesn't change the fact that it's going to be there, and I think we all understand that. For us to have a say, and I agree with the resolution that is being presented today, to take some time to sit back and ask what's occurring is not a bad thing. It shouldn't be something that the developers of that project should be concerned with. They actually should encourage it so they get the questions answered for the public, so they have an answer instead of delaying, saying nothing's impacting it. It may not be. I'm not an oceanographer. I'm not a person that studies the seas. There's studies around the country that's been done in different locations, but it's not here. And I want to know what's happening here as well, since it impacts us. So I'm supporting the resolution because I see no problem taking some time to look at what's actually going on. How could it hurt anything? And I have complete faith in the ability of the developers doing this project, that after the timeline is done, they'll still be right on schedule running this thing through, and it won't impact them a little bit. There's a lot of money on the books for this, and it generates a lot in our economy. Not that that's a bad thing. You need something in the region. This is coming, but it's not the only thing we should be banking on as well. And I don't think we are. So, but for myself, I'm going to go with the support on the resolution, that they actually look at it, because it does matter, and it can be different here than the studies they've done in other areas. Take some time to find out. You're not hurting anything. That's all.
Now, any other comments from the governing body?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Gatto?
just one quick comment, hearing kind of both sides and the passion. The resolution says moratorium. And I think, Commissioner Bowers, you said you're not looking for a permanent moratorium. Could we insert something like a 30-day moratorium or something?
No.
Months to get the test. I'm trying to suggest a compromise here, okay? My request is, instead of just saying moratorium, which indicates, hey, just stop,
Right.
which I don't think any of us are indicating here, could we consider 30 whatever day moratorium to allow for this investigation and some results to come back? Just a suggestion.
The only thing I would say in regard to that would be, first of all, it's not going to be up to us. I mean, it's not going to be up to us. We're looking at a resolution to take a pause, to get more research, get the facts, and that's really, I think, all that amounts to. It's not going to matter if that takes 20 days, 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, whatever it takes to get it. I would leave the wording alone is what I would do. I would suggest.
Yeah, I,
Mr. Kern?
yeah, I'm just gonna concur, and especially with, Commissioner Bertino and exactly what you had just said. We're not here to say yay or nay to this project. That does not come under our purview at all. But we are supporting Senator Palestina and our congressman
Yes.
in putting some time into, I think it deserves the time to look at and find out what's going on. That's what we're looking for here.
Any other comments before we open the meeting to the public?
So Chairman,
Yes.
I actually wasn't gonna say anything, but it needs to be said. So at the end of the day, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 y'all have made it very clear. We have no say so. So it's a waste of resolution because you got no say so. You put a moratorium on it, you got no say so. If you got policy in it and they're playing politics on it, they know it's got no say so. And so at the end of the day, I hear the concerns on both sides of the aisle. And I understand the concerns. We had wells right up on the beach in Lime City, 2 of them, one in Brigantine, up and down the coast. What we talking about? 5 or 6 of them? Has nothing to do with the windmills out in the ocean because there ain't no drilling going on. So we're playing politics, right? And so at the end of the day, there are some people. Now, you might talk when they talking, but you're not going to talk when I'm talking. But you can go.
Commissioner Corsi, you have the floor. Go ahead.
So we sit here and we play the politics of it, knowing that it's going to, we got no say so. It's a federal and a state level. A year ago or so, this governing body voted on a resolution to support offshore windmills. You were for it before you was against it. And now the day you sit there and say put a moratorium on it, it makes absolutely no sense. Hypocrite of the first degree. Palestine and Company plays game. He's an engineer. He knows better. He knows it's going to go. And at the end of the day, we sit here, get 30-second headline, play cute, because folks in the community are against it. I get it. They have legit concern. But if you're a true elected official, you tell them, hey, listen, I can raise all the hell I want, but it's going to pass anyway. We talk, and I think Valor said it clear. Yeah, and Bettina, yeah, it brings jobs to the community, to the areas. I get all of that. But the truth of the matter is, it's like we put up a resolution to make the public feel good, knowing damn well resolution means absolutely nothing because we have no say so. Why are you trying to fool the public, knowing that you got no say so? As Amy indicated, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, you come back, the results are still the same. You have no say so. But to get a 30-second headline, a paper article that says, oh, we came out against it because it was the right damn thing to do because we're running for office. Cool. Come on. Let's put the chips where. I know some of y'all don't want to hear it. I'm telling you the truth. Right? You don't have to agree with my opinion. But at the end of the day, this governing body, a year ago or so, voted a resolution supporting off-wind mills. Right? Now today, we put a moratorium. Hell, we should have thought about that a year ago or so. So who's fooling who? Who's playing the game? Let's be honest with yourselves. At the end of the day, we have no damn say so. Now, if you'd have been before the Congress or the Senate or even at the state, okay, maybe the state now could do a temporary hold. I don't hear nobody up and down the state of New Jersey saying they want to do a moratorium. They're looking to hold it for 30 days. We know the repercussion. You're an engineer by trade, you know.
Would you like me to respond?
No, you the one supporting all this resolutions and stuff. Don't respond while I'm talking. Don't talk while I'm talking. I'm saying as the senator, you got these people that believe it, that this is gonna be something that can stop. It's not gonna stop. You can't stop it. I can't stop it. We can't stop it. It ain't something that just happened yesterday. It's been in the workings. And we're playing emotionals. That's what we're playing, people's emotions. That's what we're doing. Like it or not, that's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if you don't agree with me. It's okay. I respect your opinion. I'm giving it to you real. Nothing here is going to stop this project from going. And I think Bettina said it clear. Most folks don't want it in their communities. I get it. We're talking 15, 20 miles off Atlantic City. I get it. But the truth of the matter is this. Whether we pass this resolution, I believe y'all gonna pass it anyway. I'm not gonna support it. The fact of the matter is that I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and think it's gonna make a difference because I support this resolution. It's not gonna happen because nothing's gonna change. It's feel-good medicine for folks who are running for office. Bottom line. And I'll dispute that with any of them whenever they want to try it. Smart, they pick their fight. This ain't the one they're gonna win. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, just if I could. Yeah, I agree. You know, do we have a say? Absolutely not. But I believe that we do have a say when our constituents reach out to us. And if enough municipalities and enough counties, county commissioners up and down this coast pass resolutions similar to this, we could possibly get the ear of the governor, maybe of the president, who knows? But, you know, I'm not running for office right now, so I could care less.
If the shoe don't fit, don't worry about it.
Well, I'm just letting you know, okay? You had your say, let me have mine, okay? This is about the people in Atlantic County, okay? The ones that have reached out to me personally that are against it. And they're the ones that we're elected to be their voice. So I'm being their voice. If you want to vote no, vote no. You have one vote, I have one vote. Everybody here has one vote. If it passes, it passes. If it fails, it doesn't. But we can't change what's going to happen out there. And yeah, we did support the idea. And I think the resolution, if you read it, it still says we support the idea. Okay? But the information and the things that have happened since then have changed the minds of a lot of people. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of money here. And I don't care if it's $100 trillion. We can't replace that ocean. We can't replace the ocean.
Number one, as a co-sponsor, I'm open to amending if that's where we go, as Commissioner Gatto said. And number two, again, the focus is on what's happened recently since December 1st with the whales washing up in unprecedented numbers. I mean, everything Mr. Chris said about us passing it before is true, but I want to focus on this resolution we have before us. And, if it sounds better with it not making it sound like it's, an unending pause, I'm all for that, fine.
Mr.
Chair, say that.
Mr. Chair, a lot of what I
Commissioner
was going to say was already said, so we'll move on to public comment.
Anyone else before we move? All right. We're going to open the meeting to the public. We have our state senator here. Would he like to say anything?
Oh, wait, Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question
You
first?
got the
please?
floor.
You want me to go to the podium?
Please,
Can I ask a question first?
please.
Mr. Commissioner, or the body, I'm just curious. What role do you or the body have in playing that we change the retirement age for judges to 75?
Excuse me. You don't
What
question what I
role-
did. I'm
I
asking.
asked if I could.
Oh, you can ask the chair. I'm gonna have to respond to you.
Okay. Mr. Chair, any of the board, what role do any of you play in changing the judge's retirement age to 75?
Senator Palestine, if you don't mind, I'll take a stab at that because that is kind of what I wanted to speak on. We've passed many resolutions that we don't have the authority or the voice to actually move anything, but to send a message to certain, other politicians or other bodies, and from the county. So it's, this isn't the first time we've done it. We've done it before, where we've passed resolutions just to send a message to maybe to the senator's office or maybe to, Congress or maybe to whomever that this is how we feel down here. So none is the answer to your question. So no, we are all aware that by passing this resolution, it does not, it's not binding anyone to stop anything, to do anything. It's just not, but we're aware of that. If we pass this resolution, that's not what's going to happen. And in terms of what happened in the past, and bringing up past resolutions, I just don't think that's appropriate, to bring up past resolutions at all because, what we're looking at here is doing something, sending a message, as Commissioner Ballas said, we're listening to our constituents and we're sending a message to whoever is listening that we are listening to our constituents that we have a problem. And so I'm just speaking on that note. So we don't have any salt in that game, Senator Palestina, but I don't think that should stop us from passing this resolution. And also, I don't think that we're saying that we're against the project. And I think that's important that we hear that. I don't think anyone up here said that we're against the project. I think what everyone is saying is that we should take the time to make sure what we're doing is appropriate and we're doing it in an appropriate way. And I think that's all we're asking for in this resolution. So I don't think that we should amend it. If we're going to be clear, I don't think it needs amendment. I think that what it says is that we're asking for an investigation to be done. And once that investigation is done, whether that takes, and we're not the people that decide how long that investigation takes. If it's 30 minutes, if it's 30 days, if it's 60 days, if it's 90 days, whatever it is, whatever that investigation time takes to figure this thing out, why are whales dying? What's happening? I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know, and I don't think anyone up here sitting in this dais knows. That's not our expertise. But I think that we do have an obligation that if something like that is happening, to take a second to try and figure out what's going on. And that's it. And you're right. No matter what we do up here, it doesn't mean they're going to stop. It doesn't mean they're going to pause. They can ignore us completely. We've done this before. We had other resolutions where the state absolutely, which I thought were more important resolutions or that needed to be dealt with, and they haven't given us a single answer. They've said nothing to us. They've ignored us as though we didn't even pass the resolution. So what's stopping them from ignoring us again? They likely will. But this room is filled with constituents that care about this situation, that care about what's going on, and we do have an obligation to these folks. That I do know.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. I appreciate that because I just wanted to point out, you just literally did one that had absolutely no bearing on what this body does, but.
We've done
that's
several.
an issue here.
We've
So,
done several.
and you do them, of course, you're responding to your constituents. I just want to deal with facts, because you heard this information. These projects have been going on for a while. There are two different lease areas where people are working on. Atlantic Shores is working in the one area, Orsted is working in the other area. There has been a combination of both sonar and drilling going on. So at the beginning of January, Atlantic Shores was doing sonar, Orsted was doing drilling. Of course, we started to see an increase in the whale deaths here, December, January, as was pointed out. And the concern became, you heard about BOEM, Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, and NOAA, regulates these things as the federal government. And it's pretty clear, Atlantic Shores and Orsted have been responsible, and they have let us know exactly what they're doing, and they have marine scientists on their boats. Clearly, there is not a direct impact from them with what they're doing. Their boats are not hitting whales, but the federal government has granted these incidental takeoff provisions, which does allow to the disruption of marine mammal habitat. That has been granted, and so the concern, of course, when you have sonar going on in one area, drilling going on in another area, all of a sudden an unprecedented situation that we have not seen in the history of New Jersey, where you have all of these whales washing ashore in a limited period of time, in a limited geography. We had, in a 10-mile stretch, we had 4 or 6 whales now wash up. We have never seen that. There was a concern, and there remains a concern, that the incidental take authorizations allowing for the disruption of habitat is either affecting the whales themselves or affecting the bait fish that they chase after and feed on. Maybe they're going to the shipping channels, maybe they're getting hit. You all said it, we don't know what is going on. So when this first came up, when the one washed up in Brigantine, I texted the governor immediately because I think it was the 7th one, and it became a concern. And the governor himself of the state of New Jersey said back to me, we are taking this very, very seriously. They get it, they understand it, so this is not an issue that is just us talking about it. This is everyone in state government that is concerned about this. Of course, it has continued to happen. So this past week, I did call for a 30-day pause on the activities related to offshore wind. These things are not going to be built until 2025 or 2026. You guys said it. A 30-day pause is not going to impact the long-term schedule of what is going on. In those 30 days, we could get necropsies back. We could figure out between both of these companies where they were doing the work, when they were doing the work, exactly what they were doing. Then we also see if the incidents keep happening. So again, I think that the responsible thing to do is simply for all of us to call for a pause. A limited period of time there. We can get more information, work with our federal regulators. And I think the other thing to point out, Commissioner Bowles, you said that Atlantic Shores said they weren't invited. I can tell you unequivocally, I saw them myself and I invited them because we're not trying to do this in a vacuum. We're not trying to do this by ourselves. Clearly, we cannot. We want to do it with Atlantic Shores and with Orsted and with our federal regulators and with our state government. We all have an obligation to try to figure this out together. We just cannot have a situation which continues where you continue to lose humpback whales, these 35-foot majestic creatures. Right whales are down to about a population of 350 in the world. And, we lost 3 dolphins last week. And so we need to figure out to the best we can what is happening. And so that's what we are calling for. And we applaud you for bringing this topic up. Obviously, you can see from all your constituents here, a very important topic, very important to many people. So thank you very much. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, we'll open it up to the public and going forward, Mayor from Brigantine, Vince Sarah.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mayor Vince Sarah. I'm pretty sure I know all of the people here in the room. I'd like to thank the commissioners for taking the opportunity to discuss this today. I know Commissioner Corsi, one of the things you kind of asked us was the purpose of this resolution. What point does it have? I think that's a very important question to ask because as commissioners, your job is to have a voice for the people you represent. And it's good to have varying opinions. You need to have that so people can tell the truth. You need to tell them like it is. That's one of the things that we're trying to do here in Brigantine. I've been talking about offshore wind for more than 2 years. This isn't something new. This isn't something that's just related to the recent whale deaths that have gone on. When I started this process, it was all by myself. Right now, I'm not just speaking on behalf of Brigantine, I'm speaking on behalf of 30 mayors and 360,000 people in the state of New Jersey. People want answers. They want to know what's going on. Listen, everybody respects the need for alternative energy. We understand that we can't go on the path we're going. But we also need to make sure that this project is being done correctly. As for Atlantic Shores, I personally invited them. They did an open house in Brigantine in December. I invited them. They committed to being there. We set a date. We got everything set. I reached out to them. They said they'd get back to me. Their answer to me was, We don't have any personnel in that area, so we're not going to be able to attend the meeting. And that's fine. I have very good relations with Atlantic Shores. I have very good relations with Orsted. They're good community partners. But we want to make sure that we get answers to what's going on. One of the things that's concerning is this is one of the largest wind turbine farms, I'm going to call it, in the world. The comparison that's been made has been to much smaller ones. Rutgers University has done a study on this. One of the things that jumped out is that there's this area off our coast called the Cold Pool. The Cold Pool is one of the most sustainable fisheries in the world. Rutgers University, based on their study, has no idea what the wind turbines themselves are going to do on that cold pool, how it's going to affect it, how it's going to disrupt it. Could potentially raise the sea level temperatures, which could disrupt it forever. One of the things we're very concerned about, to put this in perspective, is according to the Marine Mammal Stranding Center, you see typically 7 what they call whale strandings a year, where whales wash in. We're already at 10. The major change that we've seen out there is the activity that they're doing for these ocean wind projects. And this isn't just a South Jersey thing. This is something that is happening up and down the entire East Coast. And now is the time to get answers. Once these are built and once they go forward, it's too late. So what we're asking for on behalf of all of our communities is to get answers, to make sure there is no connection. And if there's a better way to do these projects where it's not going to harm our marine mammals or our ocean environment, then let's find that. And that is all we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else want to speak?
Yes.
Yes, hi.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Keith Moore, and
You're from where?
Brigantine, New Jersey,
Thank you.
and I'm with the Finn Brigantine Beach. Thank you for letting us speak today. A couple of things I'd like to say. First of all, we believe that this program, from the federal level on down, has been rushed. Everything is in a hurry to get finished. There's a lot of places that should be a harder look taken at, particularly with regard to economic and environmental damage that could possibly occur. We've done the research. We've looked at the facts in the BOEM documents. We've looked at them in the NOAA documents, and we've looked at it in the state documents. And that's Patrick, to your point about no one knowing about this, we set up a Facebook page on December 18th of last year. In 2 months, we have 2,500 people on that site because those people had no idea that this was going on. Okay? I expect that to go viral by the time the summer residents come here. So the discussion about these companies having these, meetings is just ridiculous. I mean, no one knows about what's really going on, and they want the facts. So, I think it's incumbent on us to look at taking a little time out and making sure that we have those facts and people can then assess whether or not this is a good thing for New Jersey. Okay, I think that's very important that we do. These things are 400 feet, or 400 of these things over 1,000 feet tall with unproven technology going in off of our shores. That worries me, just as an engineer. It ought to worry you too, because we don't have any idea how these things are going to perform or operate and what type of potential economic or environmental damage they could have on our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who else would like to speak?
Go side to side,
Yes, sir.
always want to be fair. My name's Roseanne Sarawaka from Ocean City, New Jersey, and I was on board on stopping this before there were any whale deaths at all. Now I think they are up to 22 whale deaths between Massachusetts and 23. Thank you very much. My background is as a science curriculum consultant, so I do know that green energy ideas are pushed in our schools and in our government. And some ideas, keep moving forward with them. But there are a lot of ideas that don't work, and this is one of them. It's called industrializing the ocean. These are the reasons. I have 10. The amount of fossil fuels that will be used, gears, mechanics, transportation setup. Forbes magazine said 2 million barrels of fuel just to power ships to get back and forth for construction. The numbers are clear. You want that in your ocean? I don't think the animals will survive. That would be number two, destruction of marine life and its entire ecosystem in our area, affecting our fishing industry. Ridiculously expensive. Outrageously inefficient. So it's so expensive, and I don't have a number. Probably somebody out here does, but I know it is inefficient, and I have the facts. 46% efficiency from the turbines. That's not enough to destroy the ocean. The size. There's at least 1,000 of these, not 400 or 500, 1,000 from the coast of, say, Rhode Island down to Virginia. And I don't even want to talk about how wide they are. And they're back to back to back. That will be your view. Tourism, fishing, view is in there, but that's not what I'm about is view. If it worked, I would say you have to deal with it, but it's not efficient enough. Sound effects from these turbines have had medical effects, not on just animals, but on humans, as shown in placement of these turbines in Europe. Serious physical effects. So you would have to deal with lawsuits coming from that. EMFs have been used on certain types of undersea crustaceans, and they have shown a slower growth rate, slower speed, and smaller size. The proof is there. Again, someone already talked about the amount of people animals you're allowed to. How many dolphins? How many porpoises? Something to watch is Sonic Sea 2016, and it shows you the proof that whale dolphin deaths from U.S. Navy sonar in the Bahamas has been proved. And the Navy receded and made changes in what they did. This is not about accountability. It's about your own conscience and a gift to future generations. This is a quote from Theodore Roosevelt, who protected our national parks. Defenders of the short-sighted men who in their greed and selfishness will, if permitted, rob our country of half its charm by their reckless extermination of all useful and beautiful wild things, sometimes seeking to champion them by saying the game belongs to the people. Please vote your conscience and what you would want for your grandchildren. Thank you.
The only thing I would like to add is if we could just focus on the resolution that what we're dealing with, if you would, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for all letting me be here and speak today and for hearing us all out. My name is Temi Grote, and I have my master's in marine science. I am a former marine mammal biologist. I worked with marine mammal strandings for years, and now I'm here on behalf of Clean Ocean Action, working as the South Jersey coordinator for Clean Ocean Action. We're here to ask your support for this moratorium as well as to kind of raise awareness for this topic. We have been talking about it for years, like many people in this room. We've been talking about it since well before the whales even started dying, which is one reason we have started this petition for an investigation into the cause of whale deaths. In just our area here on the New Jersey, New York coast, we are home to one of the most biologically diverse areas in terms of marine mammals. That includes 33 species of whales, dolphins, and porpoise, 4 species of seals, and 5 species of sea turtles, all of which are protected and most of which are endangered. In regards to the recent whale death numbers that we're all very aware of, we wanted to bring light to the fact that these do coincide with 11 unprecedented permits for conducting offshore pre-construction activities, as well as the proposed massive industrial offshore wind power plants. These 11 companies have permits to conduct noisy, intense, and technical surveys that include sonar, which, as we all know, can cause harm to marine mammals. In fact, the National Marine Fisheries Service issued 11 companies incidental harm authorizations, which allow for potential harm of almost 64,000 marine mammals. In addition to that, 5 more offshore wind survey projects are pending. This would allow for potential harm of almost 90,000 more marine mammals. While the cause of these deaths is still unknown and very, very unfortunate. We, as well as people in this room, as well as the almost 2,000, actually, sorry, now over 2,000 people that have signed this petition, do see a potential correlation and believe there is a plausible and possible link between the project and the whale deaths. So like some of our commissioners here, calling on President Biden, local officials, our public, to raise awareness and to ask for 4 things specifically. For a direct and immediate and publicly transparent investigation into offshore wind activities and their potential impact to marine mammals. We're also calling, secondly, for a hard stop to the offshore wind industry and pre-construction in our waters and any construction activities that aren't independently cleared for any involvement in marine mammal deaths. The third thing we are asking for in this petition is a comprehensive, scientifically valid, and robust response plan to future stranded marine mammals so that we can gather intel and understand scientifically what is happening here to avoid them in the future. And the fourth and final thing we're asking for is a halt to any new planned or pending offshore wind development pertaining to, sorry, I know I'm out of time, just quickly. We are asking for your support for this petition. You're welcome to sign it on our website, and we have plenty of scientifically valid resources for you all to investigate to kind of gain more information for your future voting in this commission. Thank you for hearing it.
Mr. Chairman, please do my speak real loud.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Debbie Dombrowski. Moved down to Longport and built a home. 12 houses from the beach. As I said, grew up in Philly, in a little town called Port Richmond. Worked really hard to have this home and build this home. I love it, and I've been crying every day hearing about this. Commissioner Fitzpatrick, I know you said that Congressman Van Drew did approve this, and I don't want to speak for him, but I did read that when he did approve this in 2015, the scope of the project was 66 wind turbines at about 300 feet. I believe that we all know that that is now significantly changed, and I do, from what I've read, heard that additional permits were not pulled. So this project that went from 66 wind turbines that were 25 miles out have now come to, I don't know, 8 to 9 miles out off the Longport or Margate area. And they are going to be higher than the Ocean Casino, which is 700 some feet. And they're going to be as high as the Eiffel Tower. People that have heard about these wind farms think they're going to be like the little ones that are out on the land, you know, out on the lake, 300 feet high. So in addition to the marine life, which I'm so passionate about, the cost, because PSA&G dropped out, everything's going to be pushed down to the taxpayer, as we know. Everything I've read said that wind turbines are a more expensive way to deliver energy. I'm worried about nor'easters. These things have not been proven. Somebody else said the size of them in Europe. They don't have hurricanes in Europe. They might have some bad storms in the residual, but knocking down a 300-foot turbine versus a 1,000-foot, I don't want them blades coming. Have you thought about what's going to happen with tourism on our beaches while these are being installed? You might not think it's a big deal, but we go from 800 people to 18,000. I don't think they're going to want to sit on the beach while they're being installed with helicopters flying and steel being pounded in with. And the other thing, what about the bird population? There's a wind company that admitted to being the cause of the death of the bald eagle. The highest reason for their death is because wind turbines. There's so many things. The electromagnetic frequencies are going to be going underground. I know that's happening in Ocean City, but we talk about caring about our neighbors. I care about them in Ocean City, not just in Salem County. And I don't know, I could go on and on and on. There's so much when you read about it and you really learn and understand. I just think we've got to do something, but I don't think this is the right answer. And I think I'm most upset about how it went from 25 feet offshore to 60, and it's now 370 from Brigantine, or from LBI down to Cape May at 1,000 feet high. We got screwed. One more thing. Well, you want to do this for your constituents because there are a lot of people that don't really appreciate your voice. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, everyone, I want to thank you very much for inviting us, number one, and to allow us to voice our support and asking you to consider having courage to join us to help save our oceans. One thing about our whales, it's one thing about our dolphins. I personally, as you do, love New Jersey. We love our coastline. We love our God-given horizon of blue. We are looking at the industrialization of our oceans. I know fossil fuels are not looked at as being a benefit, but I'll tell you something. These windmills are going to contribute to the death and detriment of our marine life, our fish and clam and mollusk industries. The people that depend upon that revenue are going to come up empty. They, including others, small businesses, restaurants who serve seafood to the tourist trade, there's not going to be anything here. They're going to be importing it from Chile. If that's what you want, then stay the course. I am not an activist. I'm a father of a daughter and soon to be have a grandchild. I was hoping to pass along my love to this state. My daughter is a nurse, she's an RN. She lived through the pandemic and COVID and knew the executive orders that went through Trenton. That's what went on here. Executive orders. I have one question for you. Can you join me and us to have the courage? Mr. Corsi, I understand this may go nowhere. I get it. Take my head and bounce it up against a brick wall. But at least I'll be able to say I tried.
Sir, can you give your name and your town? Name and the town you're from, sir.
My name is George Platnick, and I'm actually from Point Pleasant Borough. I love the New Jersey coastline. I love Cape May. That's why I'm here today. Thank you.
I would ask the speakers to please, address your remarks to the chair. All right.
My name is Mary Ann Ford, and I'm here from Brigantine, New Jersey, with a lot of other people that are here from Brigantine who have been terrific at spreading the word. This has become a movement. I think 2 months ago, there weren't very many people that knew, and I think the enthusiasm that Brigantine has created has been tremendous. There's a couple things that I wanted to say. One, previous gentleman already referred to it, executive orders. I find executive orders so personally offensive, it's not even funny. And I'm talking about from the White House down to the Senate, Congress, our local. We are the people. We elect the officials. We decide what happens. Not an executive in a closed campus or room, whatever you want to call it. We are the ones that make the decisions. And I think that has been lost. So I just want to go on record that this whole thing, I believe, has happened on executive orders at the federal and the state level. I don't think anybody that has attended this meeting is against green energy. I think we're all for green energy. I have a daughter that I'd like to pass on a better world to. But I don't think these windmills have proven themselves to anybody except the people that are going to make a lot of money from it, that they're a good thing. They have not proven it to me. I'm the customer, and I'm your customer, and I need you to find out whether or not these things are really good. I don't believe it. The people that I've talked to say they're not efficient. Commissioner Fitzpatrick, the turbines in Block Island, I believe, you can check me, it was 5.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you want to compare 5 to what we're looking at, I don't
Please,
think that's a good idea.
comments to the
Okay.
chair.
We may be getting more jobs in Salem County, and I'm all for more jobs, but we're gonna have less tourism, because I can tell you for sure, you rent a house on the beach, anywhere along the coast, you pay a lot more for that ocean view. And the reason you pay more for that ocean view is because it's beautiful. If you're a block from the beach, you don't get as much rent money as if you're right on the beach. So I think we need to look at our tourism. I'm very glad that our mayor, Vincera, addressed the issue with Atlantic Shores. They set up the format of the meeting in December. Anyone who went, it was a total bust. It was separate and divide. Nobody could answer any questions. Oh, I don't know the answer to that. You'll have to talk to so-and-so down the way. We left questions that have never been responded to in writing. And the other thing that I'd like to say is, I moved to New Jersey, and this is my last point. I moved to New Jersey in 2018 as a full-time resident, but I've been in New Jersey since 1962. New Jersey is so expensive to live in that's, I believe, could be wrong, but I believe that's a lot of the reason why people are leaving the state. When I moved to New Jersey, people said to me, "Are you crazy? Do you know how much it's going to cost you to live in New Jersey? The taxes, the insurance." I thought, I can't be that bad. When I changed over my car insurance for the same cars, the same drivers, the same insurance, my insurance was tripled when I came to New Jersey. Welcome them in. People are leaving New Jersey because of the taxes here.
Stick to the
Thank you.
emissions.
Thank you.
Yes, hello, my name's Keith Gallagher, Bachelor of Science, Environmental Sciences, Stockton University. When we look at the environmental concerns, we have to look at the environmental impact. The average windmill, and that's the standard side windmills that you see at the ACUA, takes about 60 to 80 gallons of oil. Similar to your car, that oil needs to be changed every 3 months. So how will these windmills be serviced? Are we servicing them via fossil fueled boat? Are we going to have helicopters routinely servicing the windmills?
Well, children
The blades themselves, they're not recyclable, and they have a lifespan. Landfills out west, and you can see pictures on the internet, are filling up with these windmill blades. The impact of the eagles have been discussed. Many years ago, the federal government came into Brigantine and put in the Edwin B. Forsyth Wildlife Refuge. It killed an economic project that would have given Brigantine 2 ways on and 2 ways off. Many people don't realize that the entrance to Brigantine was designed to be the golf course, with, before there was a parkway, a causeway coming off of Route 9. The federal government came in and said, Edwin B. Forsyth, you're not doing it. So we can talk about the economic impacts as well. These things have a lifespan. They last for 10 years. So they need to be replaced. Now, what's the plan to replace them? Not really been talked about. So the windmills themselves and putting them in an offshore water environment where we have these concerns and how we're going to service them, I think has been completely ignored in the calculus of this project and really needs to be readdressed. Thank you very much for your time.
I would ask everyone to please focus on the resolution that's in front of us. We have a lot of folks online that want to talk as well, so please try to make your remarks as concise as possible. Thank you.
Excuse me, Ann H. Phillips, longtime resident of Brigantine, speaking as an individual. If built, these windmills, hundreds of them placed along our coast, would be the dominant feature in our seascape. Money and power are a potent combination and motive. Those in charge in government and business have used them effectively to bypass the state legislature, local authorities, and the public to achieve their objective, building these metal forests in the ocean with little, none, or false understanding of and concern for their harmful, long-lasting consequences and cost. They have also ignored alternative positive sources of energy, such as nuclear power. and the continuing use and need of fossil fuels, which have given our country the highest standard of living in world history. Their projects are well underway, but the whales have awakened us at last to the harm and weaknesses in these structures above and below the ocean surface. Let's not be lured by the words, greed is clean energy. This concept has merit. However, it also covers a multitude of problems, failures, and unacceptable conditions. Consider the children mining for the rare metals in Africa. And regarding national security in an insecure world, these windmills would be placed in a very vulnerable location for any enemy. You, the County Board of Commissioners, now have the opportunity to support a moratorium which will initially slow down the projects in order to get factual information about their effects and then allow all parties to rethink the whole situation. We all need to consider Mr. Pellis Satellis, gentleman from Long Beach Island. His comments quoted from the 4,000-page construction book from Atlantic Shores, which he read, all of it. Quote, these windmills would be seen from the mainland as far away as 40 miles, unquote. This decision here today concerns the whole county in many ways, economically, aesthetically, environmentally, and humanly, if that's a word, but it means we want to live in a good place, Atlantic County. I hope you will support this resolution. The dominant feature in our seascape should remain the ocean. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Hi, I'm Linda Ciccarelli from Long Beach Island. And I just have a couple of questions about environmental impact studies. I don't believe that they have been conclusive or have been done yet. I know they're in the works, but nothing's been published, so we have no idea what they're finding. The only other thing that I'd like to point out that no one's mentioned yet is, you know, every time you talk about this project, you always hear people say, gee, where are all the environmentalists, right? Where's Greenpeace? Where's the World Wildlife Foundation or the New Jersey Audubon Society? Well, if you do some research, okay, I have a list of donations from offshore wind companies and who they're donating to. So let me read a few, if you don't mind. Consortium for Ocean Leaders, National Ocean Sciences, Ørsted, $60,000. Delaware Center for Inland Bays, $50,000. Mystic Aquarium, $1.2 million. Now keep in mind, folks, Mystic Aquarium was one of the companies that did the necropsy on the last dead humpback whale. So while I think it's all great that we're putting a moratorium on this and we're getting necropsies done, let's make sure they're getting done by an unbiased company, because I don't want to, you know, blame anybody or point the finger, but let's be smart about it, okay? Because in my opinion, I wouldn't trust them, just my opinion. Okay, so let's talk about the birds. New Jersey Audubon Society, undisclosed amount from, let's see, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. We have the Wetlands Institute, $50,000 a year, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021.
Man, that's not part of our resolution though.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm just saying,
stick to the
I'm
facts.
just saying, yeah, the necropsies, when we do, if
Where
we do
we're
a
at
moratorium
with
and that,
the moratorium.
make sure that
Yeah.
the folks are reliable and unbiased,
All right.
because you're not gonna get anywhere.
We got it. We got you.
Thank you.
And going forward, with the amount of people that want to speak, I'm going to ask that only people that live in Atlantic County please speak, because we have a number of people online yet that want to speak. So we're going to give preference to people that live here in Atlantic County. Yes, sir.
My name is John Labor. I live in Brigantine in Atlantic County. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the chance to talk to you. I have one question for the body. The commissioners have spoken against this resolution and said that they believe it's playing politics, talked about the whale deaths. I just had one question. In our heart of hearts, every commissioner, if it were the case that we had sonar and drilling happening resulting in this unprecedented whale deaths, and the project was an oil rig 9 miles off Brigantine, I think this body would leap at voting for a moratorium. So just consider that in your own hearts. Politics seems to me the nature of the project being a windmill as opposed to an oil rig.
Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners.
Your name and
My name is Virginia Houck. I live in Brigantine, 15 Gold Cove. I was born in Atlantic City. My family all went to Atlantic City High School. We have deep roots in this area. I embrace all the people that live here, that work here, live here. I wrote this out because I don't want to get too emotional. I came to speak to you as a fellow citizen. To my knowledge, there was no national vote, no referendum on the installation of these massive offshore wind turbine fields off our coast. Were there any Congress hearings or even town hall meetings on this matter? Not that I recall. And by the way, I'm an essential employee. All during COVID, we worked. And I am an environmentalist on the side, but I didn't hear much about it. We were too worried about us, all of us staying well. This is my first chance to speak, and I'm nervous about it, but it's going on off the coast of my beloved state. Suffice to say, I am sad, disappointed, and disgusted by what is going on with these projects. I now come to speak to you about the effect the invasion of offshore wind covering many miles of previously open ocean will have on the Atlantic coast, commercial and sport fishing. These are our industries. This is why people come here. There is now a scientific peer-reviewed study which shows these wind turbine farms will emit strong electric magnetic fields that cannot but negatively affect all forms of living sea creatures, from tiny sea crabs, sand crabs, to massive whales that have the misfortune to live within the zone of this impact. Also, there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of migratory fish species that travel up and down the Atlantic coast each year. They have been engaged in this activity so far unaffected by underwater magnetic fields for millions of years. What will they do when they hit these farms? Will they go further out to the sea, avoid them? Will they beach themselves or die on the shore? Clearly, the electronic magnetic fields had a potentially devastating effect on both commercial and sport fishermen in the area. Cape May, Atlantic City, and Long Beach Island all have active commercial fishing industries. The 10-knot speed limit requirement to navigate through these wind farms will make it difficult for commercial fishing captains to efficiently travel to and from fishing grounds off our coast. The speed requirement alone could effectively kill this valuable industry. It's our industry. Fortunately, I anticipate the offshore wind farms that are being planned will destroy many families' dreams, and that is indeed a sad thing. Good commissioners, please do the right thing today. Stop the offshore wind development. Thank you so much for your time.
Chairman, my name is Jack Martin. I'm from Absecon. I've voted for several of you, I think, in the past. And I just want to say I've heard some reasons. I'm in favor of the moratorium. I've heard some reasons for the death of the whales. That's what I'm concerned about. Solely what I'm concerned about. First of all, I heard global warming. 3 of those dolphins died in about 40 degree water on a 60 degrees day, and they did not die from heat stroke. They were disoriented, they were flopping around, and they were terrified. I've heard ship strikes. How could we go from 1 death a year from from whales to suddenly having 20 struck by ships. And those dolphins in Sandy Hook were not struck by the 3 of them could not have been struck by a ship. I also heard that you shouldn't vote for it because it doesn't make any difference. Well, obviously something's wrong. That many whales to die in that short a period. 2 in Atlantic City, 2 in Brigantine, 1 in Ocean City, and dolphins, we're not even counting them, but also up in, I believe, Manasquan, a whale was beached. Something is wrong, and it appears from circumstantial evidence that the only thing that has changed that you can put a finger on is the wind farm sonar. And no one knows for sure, but I think we owe it to ourselves to find out. I mean, the whales are majestic creatures. The dolphins are intelligent, beautiful creatures. They're wildlife. They belong to each one of us as much as they belong to Governor Murphy. So I object to the fact that they're dying and we get somewhat frivolous answers from the people we rely upon to help us and make our lives better, our government. As far as I know, this is the only governmental body that has that cares about it, that is willing to do anything, even if you think it's meaningless. I don't think it's meaningless. I think Senator Palestina has some valuable information. He has talked to various people, some scientists. We have a guy from Stockton who understands the situation. And I think that we should pause it. I agree we should pause it and have a moratorium. And I think the first thing you do is you talk to Senator Palestina, you talk to the people who are scientists, and you get their input before you go and ask somebody who is so far blown all of us off. And I think they'll do the same thing to you. So I think that's the way to go. You pause it and you get your facts together, and then you confront this company because something is wrong. If Atlantic City is a gambling town, I would put my house on the fact that something is wrong if it were left.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Anyone else like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Peggy Dennison from Brigantine. I am a member of the Citizens Group Defend Brigantine Beach. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on the importance and the necessity of enacting a moratorium on the ongoing offshore wind activities along the coast. Like so many others, I've been shocked and saddened at the unprecedented number of deceased whales and now dolphins that have been washing up on our local beaches and all along the coast. However, my shock and sadness quickly turned to outrage when I learned that some of the scientific organizations and research teams that have been conducting the studies into what caused these deaths have accepted donations, sponsorships, and grants from offshore wind energy companies. You may have also noticed that many other well-known environmental and conservation groups have immediately and publicly come to the defense of the wind industry, and they quickly blame the whale deaths on anything and everything but the surveying activities for the offshore wind factories. That these organizations, who have been trusted to protect, preserve, and be the voice for the animals with whom we share our earth, have become nothing more than paid mouthpieces for the big wind industry, is not only disappointing and heartbreaking, but it is flat out wrong and unethical. I will not name them here because a previous speaker already named some of these big organizations, but my point is this: how can we be sure that these financial conflicts of interest are not interfering with these organizations' ability to conduct unbiased research and analysis to determine if the whale deaths are in fact a result of the offshore surveying projects? How can the public trust the science when that science is paid for by big wind? And will they be brave enough to bite the hand that feeds them? To date, that answer sadly seems to be no. So yes, an investigation is needed, but it must be an unbiased investigation conducted by independent scientists and organizations that do not receive any funding from state and federal government agencies, and under no circumstances should they have any ties to the wind industry, financial or otherwise. We must also demand and ensure that necropsies are performed by independent and unbiased researchers and organizations. These necropsies must be thorough and include all testing necessary to assess ear and brain damage that may be caused by geotechnical surveying methods that are being used for the industrial wind projects. I am in favor of the moratorium, and I feel strongly that all activities related to the development of the offshore wind factories must be stopped now. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come here to speak tonight. And we, the people, will be heard, and we appreciate the opportunity to have our 3 minutes. And we think that your voice is very important to join in concert with Ocean County and Cape May County, asking for more investigation and understanding of what's happening in our region.
Your name,
Hey,
and,
I believe,
your name and town, please.
thank you. It's Brooks Garrison, Brigantine. I believe it's the most important environmental issue of my life. That's why I'm here. The proposed industrial offshore wind projects represent an environmental catastrophe that is unseen and unknown because we cannot see and truly understand what is below the mask of the water surface. It's Dr. Ken Abel, the former director of Rutgers University Marine Field Station, says in his books this fact that what is below the water surface is unknown. What is known is we don't know. So everybody here stated that earlier today, and that's quite true. We don't really know what's going on. We do know several things. Recent whale deaths are not normal in our lifetime. We do know the scientists are not unbiased because their paychecks and research funding comes from the foreign industrial wind development companies. We do know they are conducting geotechnical surveys that include sonar and sound blasting. We do know whales are sensitive to and have been killed by the U.S. Navy research vessel with sound and sonar surveys. We do know the science necropsy work is not investigating the brain, ears, or potential for sonar blasting deaths with regard to the whales. Therefore, we do know that no one knows, especially after all the necropsies and the talk of whale strikes because of boats, why these whales are dying. We must stop the geotechnical survey and the foreign industrial offshore wind projects until we know more facts and understand what the impact is on our beautiful environment. Thank you for the opportunity.
We're going to take some calls now. Brenda, Kristen, we have people have been patiently, I know, waiting online as well to speak. We'll take the first one, and we're going to limit this to people that live in Atlantic County.
And Tim wrote, we support a moratorium on wind factory work that appears to correlate with the recent deluge of whale and dolphin deaths. Further, industrializing our shores will impact our important tourist economy and devastate our fishing industries. Thank you. And he's on now. I'm not sure if he would like to make a comment publicly.
If not, move on to the next one.
Okay. Okay, the next one is Claire Myers.
Oh, hello?
Oh, okay. Tim?
I'm sorry, this is Tim. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, if I could just make a statement. I'd like to say that executive order taking away local citizens' rights, whales and dolphins dying at an unprecedented rate, significant lack of transparency related to donations, grants, and gifts given to agencies and NGOs that we count on to be unbiased, I would ask the question, how can they be trusted after receiving monies from the very group pushing wind? Next, efficiency. Wind is not efficient. There are more efficient means to generate electricity. I'm not denying climate change or any of that. I'm just saying there's a better way to do it. Wind turbines may seem green and give warm, fuzzy feelings. They're loaded with oil, which cannot be contained if that leaks into our oceans. And there's the issue of blades that erode and drop foreign matter into the oceans and ultimately the landfill. Next up, economics. To the small business owners who are trying to eke out a living, the pizza shops, the cafes, the people that clean those stores, our fishermen that help feed our families, the hotel owners, rental properties. What happens to those families if we collapse those industries? Please do the right thing. Moratorium now. Allow additional time to study. And please do not have the mindset that this is a fait accompli, that there is nothing that we can do. There is strength in numbers. We are citizens. We should be heard. And I appreciate everything that you're doing. It starts with you. Thank you.
We have another call.
Claire Myers posted that she supports the moratorium, but she's not online, so.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Hi. Thank you. Yeah, I vacation on Long Beach Island. I support the moratorium on offshore wind development projects pending investigation. I encourage you to please better assess the environmental impact, especially on whales, before deciding whether or not to move forward. And I agree with the commissioner who suggested also slowing down container ship speed as well. Thank you.
Okay. Next.
Stacy Daly.
Hi, my name is Stacy Daly. I also vacation on Long Beach Island. While I have been in favor of the wind turbines, I'm not quite sure about a number of things that I haven't really heard spoken about. I've read a number of reports that glacial melting is contributing to shutting off the Gulf Stream, and with dredging of sand offshore and having wind turbine work conceivably being performed, I'm wondering if that will send cooler water to the surface and also affect the Gulf Stream. I'm also wondering if the turbines are installed, if that will actually cool the water, because they're in essence giant fans, also causing creation of its own weather. And I'm just curious if anyone has ever looked at that as possible outcomes from this. Thank you.
Moving on, sir, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you, commissioners. My name is Patrick Armstrong, and I live in Longport, and I've dedicated my whole life to public safety on the beaches of Absecon Island. For many years now, the Navy and industry has hid behind the fact that there was no scientific data that marine mammals and sonar were killing whales. Just recently, in a landmark study by the Navy, along with the U.S. National Marine Fisheries, the Navy finally announced that due to their sonar pings, they caused the death of 23 whales in one 24-hour period. Recently, this is Fitzpatrick, 60 Minutes
To me, sir.
ran a documentary on Northern England and their offshore wind farm. They were promised a great new economy, many jobs, better fishing, and nearly free electric. To their surprise, they received none of this, and their electric bills nearly doubled. All these promises sound so familiar. I want to remind everyone that we were all here in the late 1980s and early 90s, where dolphins started washing up on our New Jersey beaches. Every excuse in the book was given why these marine mammals were washing up. It was found out that our water quality was so poor due from New York, just driving miles offshore and dumping garbage and medical waste off our beaches. We, the people, stop this. And our beaches have never been cleaner. Thank you, commissioners, for giving us this voice and our chance to make us the guardians of our sea.
Good evening. My name is Jen Hanley, and this is my son, Blaze. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.
And you live where, ma'am?
Oh, in Vineland, but we vacation in Brigantine.
I would really prefer that we listen to folks that live here in Atlantic County first.
Okay,
I hope you can respect that.
I totally can, and I hope that you can respect all of
Thank
these people that need to be heard today.
We do. We're trying. We're trying our best.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cindy Parker Pekarik. I live in Brigantine and I represent Defend Brigantine Beach Incorporated. I'm here to let you know my thoughts about this offshore wind project. I think something wrong is really going on here. We are witnessing a quickly moving train wreck of biblical scope and proportion with the whale deaths. The theme of my comment is not clean and not green. The proponents of offshore wind repeatedly recite the mantra that it represents clean energy. This boast, however, is at war with the hard facts regarding the operation of these machines. Interestingly, when you start to get into the mechanical details of offshore wind, you will discover there's actually not much that is clean about them at all. In fact, the opposite is true. The steel used to build the towers is produced in blast furnaces that require 7,000 degrees of temperature, as it is physically impossible to create these high temperatures using solar panels or other wind turbines. The required temperature can only be achieved by burning tons of coal. Now let's address the turbine blades themselves. I understand they are built of composite materials that include fiberglass and polyvinyl. These components cannot be manufactured without the use of a critical fossil fuel, oil. The turbine generator itself requires numerous rare earth materials to generate electricity. These rare earth materials are obtained as a result of dangerous and dirty open pit mining that is conducted in various third world countries. The 300-foot-long blades do not last indefinitely. The lifespan is about 15 years, and then they must be disposed of in landfills. As you can see, commissioners, the notion that wind energy is wholly clean is a farce. This is not an opportunity for growth, as someone mentioned. It is a pending hazard to our environment, health, and community. At this point, I ask that you grant the moratorium. I also ask that you contemplate the issues that I have brought to your attention. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Please give your name and your town, please.
Eileen Barker. I live in Atlantic City on the beachfront. I'm fortunate to be on the fifth floor of a condominium so I can see from Ocean City all the way to the casinos. And I can first say that for the past, since the end of the summer, there have been vessels, clusters of vessels that sit off of the coast about, I guess it must be about maybe a mile, and I have no idea what they're doing, but they obviously maybe digging, maybe that was a cause for the whales. But I want to speak about another point. I know everyone's talking about the whales, but I wanted to show that in Israel, there was the environmental, in July 2022. In 2022, the head of the environment for Israel asked for a 5-year moratorium on building new wind turbine projects to allow for the assessment of existing turbines' effects on nature and particularly on birds and bats. The Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel backed the Environmental Ministry's petition, and they wanted to reject more wind farms. This was based on the proof. Here is because they've had wind farms for the past 20 years. This report showed that the promotion of clean and renewable energy is important, but so is the preservation of open space and nature. When it must have been 2 years ago when Orsted had their public hearings, they had been asked what are they going to do if there's wind, if the birds are affected, and they said they'll take care of it. But in Israel, they say that they have used this special program that was supposed to stop the wind turbines when the birds come near it, and it was totally did not work. And that's why they wanted to not have any more projects. Israel has used by millions of birds because of the migration, and there have been hundreds of birds that have been died, and there are pictures of showing that. And I just want to avoid that problem happening in our area. Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Steve Stoke, live in Galloway Township. I definitely consider everybody's points of view here tonight. Just by listening to the comments, pretty sure this resolution is going to pass, just by what people were saying. What I'd ask you to do, though, is put a amendment to that resolution with some sort of a time end date. If you say, hey, we want to practice due diligence, perfectly reasonable. I understand that. But to say it takes as long as it takes, a week, a month, 7, 12 years, this is a business transaction, and I do think that you have to put some kind of stipulation on it. You just can't indefinitely say we're going to see how long it takes to figure it out. But I would just ask respectfully that you put some sort of an end date on the moratorium after you get that data. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Ron Meischer, 991 Tuckahoe Road in the small hamlet of Milne, New Jersey. Of course, I own a home in Summers Point as well. Listening to the comments related to this tonight, I concur with Commissioner Gatto and Commissioner Dace that there should be a time constraint put on this. Some sort of end date, to try to arrive at some sort of conclusion to what's going on. Not just an indefinite administrative filibuster, we'll end it when it ends. That's not the right thing to do. Secondly, I think most of the people on this board know I'm a commercial waterman. Okay. Heard a lot of talk here tonight about what it's going to do to the commercial fisheries here. This commercial waterman has no concern at all about offshore wind having a negative impact to commercial fisheries. Okay. There's a lot of what I'm going to call boogeyman signs out there about it.
What about people that?
I'm running the show.
But, as a commercial fisherman, okay, I have no concerns. And I've attended over 40 offshore wind meetings throughout this entire process, whether they were hosted by recreational fishing groups, commercial fishing groups, the state, environmental organizations. I don't have any concerns after, reading the reports out of Europe or anything like that. But, another concern I have, and I didn't hear enough of this tonight, is about the jobs that these create and the continuing careers that continue after they're built, the maintenance jobs, okay? And these aren't $16 an hour jobs. These are good paying jobs for Atlantic County residents. These are good paying careers for Atlantic County residents. And these are careers that can't be sold short. Atlantic County needs the jobs. Okay, they need good paying careers. The residents here need other outlets, and this is a good one. Many organizations, Atlantic Community College put a lot of money into this. Carpenters Union has put a lot of money into this through a full-blown training center. Okay, in anticipation of this, because this was moving forward. So do your due diligence, put a time limit on it, be fair to everybody involved. And if it's inconclusive, we can't find evidence, we just don't keep looking until we find something that meets some of the opponent's standards here. You know, put a time limit on it, do the research, and if we can't find anything conclusive, let's move forward. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Nancy Pino. I'm from Atlantic County, Brigantine, and I just wanted a couple things I've heard tonight. First of all, there's 12 whales that were killed in New York and New Jersey since December the 1st. Had you put the moratorium in place, or had a moratorium been put in place when our mayor had first said it, 5 of those whales would not have died. There's 23 on the East Coast now that have washed up, and we don't know how many more are out there. What we do know is that they're doing sub-bottom profiling, which uses acoustic and seismic energy to trigger a pressure wave that travels through the water into the seabed. We know that seismic and sonar energy affects whales, and pressure waves affects whales. And we know that an unusual mortality event has occurred since 2016. And in 2016, that's when the wind industry ramped up. So there kind of is a correlation there. And I think it's worth investigating whether that's the cause or not. What I've heard from all the environmental groups and from, NOAA and coming out, we know it's not the wind industry that's doing it. We don't know what it's doing it, but we know it's not the wind industry. Well, how can they know if they're not actually testing some of the data, such as the whale's inner ear and their brain tissue? We know on none of those whales has that been tested. So it's easy to say, well, it's not the wind when you don't have any data if you're not testing the places that it would occur in those whales. If people were harmed, I would hope that we wouldn't say, oh, well, jobs are going to happen. So, you lose a few, COVID, we lost a few, but good jobs have come from this. No, we need to save those whales. The whales can't speak up, so it's up to us to do that. And I don't think this is political. And quite frankly, I'm ready to change parties because I sit and listen to some of my political party here tonight give no substance on why they shouldn't fight for the whales to find out what's going on in the whales. Instead, they talked about, oh, it's political and there's nothing we can do and jobs are coming. I'm mortified because it's not political. It is bipartisan. And there is something that you can do. You can pass this resolution, and maybe you won't hold it accountable in our state, but it's one more pressure on the powers that be that could actually stop this and do something. I've heard that Chris Smith has a bill he initiated, HR 1056, that is calling for a government accountability office investigation on the sufficiency of the review process for this. Because no environmental impact studies were done when these areas were leased. None. There's no environmental impact statement done right now on this. No environmental impact statement was done when NOAA gave the take resolutions to harass and harm these whales. They said you can harm them, but you're not going to do that. And none was done on the noise impact, which is also going to come. So I'd ask that you would call for a moratorium, just until we get results back. At some point, if enough people come out, we need results, we'll come back. And if it takes 30 days, or that's up to the scientists, not you all, or your moratorium. Anyway, I ask that you put a moratorium until we can find out what's going on.
Anyone else before we go to the phones?
Your name.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Shannon. I relocated here 23 years ago from Tennessee, and I love New Jersey. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And I'm so proud of New Jersey right now. And I really, I've done a lot of research on my own, and I agree with pretty much what most of my friends here are saying about let's put a pause on this. And I won't bore you or take up any more of your time because you pretty much heard everything that everybody's had to say. And I think there's a lot of great points here. The one thing I would like to add is in this current environment, I feel like we need to have faith in our political leaders and we need to be, assured that you guys have our back. We right now are scared. I'm scared. I'm like, what is going on with our country? We really need your support. At least put a pause on it. Let's just stop for a second and say, hey, what's the hurry? Let's just see what's going on, y'all, please. You got so many people that are so passionate. Just, show them that you got their back, okay? That's all I ask, and I love you guys.
Brenda, first, do we have any other calls
Several.
that are ready to go? Ma'am, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
My name is Lisa Bonanno. I live in Linwood, and I kind of follow the environmental piece of this. I do know that there have been environmental impact studies on this that are over 1,000 pages long, and that there have been several public hearings about it. So I would invite anyone with questions to go back and look at that. However, I am not an armchair environmentalist. I am a nurse, and what frustrates me is the continual delays. I feel as if some of these things are ignoring the positive research that's out there. There's no perfect solution to our problems. We're not going to have anything with no environmental impacts, but fossil fuel itself has environmental impacts. I had a 13-year-old patient that they have kids that live around burning fossil fuels that live close within a certain radius have a 25% increased incidence of asthma. And I had one child that we controlled literally every other factor we could with a team of people from Children's Hospital. The kid lived in the projects and was literally surrounded by highways, and she died. Okay, I don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. Every time we have a flood, people are displaced or frail elderly that we have to move, go without their medications, and some of them don't survive the evacuation. Then we have to get them back, and then we have to pay for getting their homes fixed. Then we have an issue with mold, which also increases respiratory illnesses, including asthma. We don't have the money for this. We don't have the time for this. We need to study environmental impacts, but there's been a lot of work already done. I feel like we have a lot of data, but I want to ask where we're coming up with the way to prepare for the illness that actually comes along with climate change related storms, specifically the flooding, the displacement, and that's also very expensive. So I will also say when we build developments, the wildlife adjusts, maybe not so well as maybe they would in the ocean. This is just something I'm thinking about. Again, that's not my specialty, but my concern is that instead of making good forward-thinking policy that looks at all of our residents, especially our sick ones and our young ones, then we're not governing. We're just reacting to, in this forum, I won't speculate on why this is happening, but I feel like we need to look at the bigger picture and look at the people. That's all I have.
Thank you. We have any calls ready there, Brenda?
Yeah. Do you want to take another?
Sure, call.
Hi, my name is Lori Goldsmith. I'm from Brigantine, New Jersey. I'm concerned with how close the windmills are going to be to my front door and their lights. With that being said, my husband and I we purchased our home in July 2019. I would have to say that we bought a view, but it was only after we purchased our home, we became early risers to watch the sun over the horizon every morning with countless people who gather to the beach and the seawall to do the scene. I'm going to start crying. I'm sorry. But after the sun rises, it's a good day if we see a dolphin. A lot of people post videos of the whales going down the beach, swimming along. I've never seen one until I got to see the one dead a mile from my home on the beach. I must admit it was heartbreaking to see this majestic animal dead on my beach. Since that day, I wake up in the morning I watch the sunrise, and then my focus goes to see that I see another dead whale floating in the ocean in front of my home. This isn't a coincidence that this just started happening with the whales washing the shore at the same exact time that they started doing the ocean mapping. I truly believe that it's the consequence of doing that the whales are dying. So respectively, I ask you, please, vote yes, stop this, figure out what's going on, and find the right way to move forward. The wind turbines are gonna have 3 lights on them. One on the top, one in the middle, and one on the bottom. In March of 2021, I had a stroke, but it wasn't really a stroke, it was a migraine. And since then, I've had many more. I think one of my triggers is flashing lights and things moving in front of me. When these windmills when they're out there every day, is going to be torture for me with the risk of having another migraine stroke. I spent 2 or 3 days in ICU from it. It took a while to figure out what it was, but now I know that if the windmills do go through, that's my trigger. And I have a house right directly on the beach. I'm not in my backyard, but I kind of need to be for my own health.
Thank you.
The truth is, we don't know the consequences of the marine life and to humans from these. So please, don't roll the dice. It's something I'm not comfortable with doing. The stakes are too high.
We're gonna take a couple more calls and then we're gonna time to wrap it up. Brenda, do we have anybody
Yeah,
on there?
Linda Petrolio.
And she lives here in Lane County?
I don't know. It doesn't tell me where she resides.
Bring her on. I come.
Sorry, I'll go into that.
All right, move on. Go ahead, while we're waiting. Go ahead.
Tim Kehoe. Tim Kehoe.
Is he ready?
I moved him over.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Is Tim on the line? Okay. All right. Moving on.
Very fast.
I'm Karen Bew, Deputy Mayor of Brigantine. I just want to thank you for listening to our residents and the residents of Atlantic County. And I want to thank our Mayor, Vince Sarah, for spearheading this whole thing. And I hope you all vote your conscience as you listen to all of our concerns. We're very, very upset about the whale deaths and the way it's been pushed at us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. For those at home that are listening and watching this, we're going to be wrapping this up very soon. So if you have comments, please reach out to us by email, whatever, snail mail, whatever. We're glad to have your comments, but we've gone on pretty long now, and we're about ready to wrap this up for the public portion.
I just would like to make
Go ahead, ma'am.
small comment. So I also moved here about a year ago from Somerset County. And people in our area, every time they would hear about Atlantic County, Atlantic City, they would say, oh, it's dumb. Because of Atlantic City. I came to Brigantine Beach a few times. I loved it. What a beautiful beach. I moved here a year ago. You people, you're citizens, right, of this county, how can you let this go through? Wind farms. Do you even realize what it will do to this county? Me as a person, I would leave. I'm sure I'm sure many visitors, many people that also depend on rentals would want to come here. It's a dump. It's going to be an environmental dump. Children are swimming. Many people I see don't swim. I love the ocean. My name is Marina. I love the ocean, okay? I see children swimming, enjoying it. What about those oil leaks? Have you thought of it? This is your birthplace. How can you just ruin it for your own grandchildren, for your own children? Just for the money? Money. We know, we're not. I was in real estate. Okay, government comes and goes, but the negligence stays.
Thank you. We're gonna wrap this up with the public portion. We're gonna get back to the main resolution that we need to vote on.
Can I
So, now, I'd like to move on. Man. So we've been here a couple hours discussing.
I got my 3 minutes.
Excuse me?
Don't I get 3 minutes?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you.
The last speaker.
I have a visual because sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'm sorry I didn't have enough to hand out, but
Your name and.
my name is Suzanne Moore, I live in Livingston.
Okay, thank you.
So what you are seeing here is a map off of the Bowen website. And as I said, a picture's worth 1,000 words. These are the wind farms that are going to be off the Atlantic coast, Atlantic County coast. We're going to be in the middle of massive wind farms. If you look at this map, you see the yellow portion, and that is Ocean Wind 1. That's just the beginning. And if you look in front of Ocean Wind 1, there's a gray area, and there's a gray area below Ocean Wind, the yellow portion. That gray area is Ocean Wind 2. By the time the Ocean Wind projects, which are being done by Ørsted, we will have windmills 9 miles off our coast. Everybody's saying 15 miles, it's 9 miles. Beside that project, you have Atlantic Shores South and Atlantic Shores North. They will also be 9 miles off our coast. We will be surrounded by over 400 windmills off of our coast, 1,000 feet high. So I just want you to take that into this visual, because I'm not even sure if people understand this. I support your vote tonight for this resolution, and I think that we need to even do more. I think there's winners and losers in this whole, on these projects, and Atlantic County is a loser. I think there's things being done in New Jersey that are positive. Paulsboro Marine Terminal, they're getting $250 million in state funds. State funds our tax money to build that. Also Salem County, Windport on 220 acres, receiving $500 million of our tax money to develop that. And that's just phase one. They will produce 500 jobs for Paulsboro and 1,000 jobs for Salem County. What is Atlantic County getting? Well, Ørsted purchased a land and building, and they expect 69 jobs. Atlantic Shores paid millions, 23 millions for a city block for their maintenance facility or administrative offices. So I expect that's another 69 jobs. Yes, our academic institutions such as Atlantic Cape May and ACT, it's the ACIT or ACT and Stockton University are getting some programs. I'm not sure how many jobs that will create. But what will the cost be? First, tourism industry and real estate. Atlantic City right now, one of the top destinations in the country. We've got 62,000 jobs and $7 billion in money coming in. And we have real estate value of $35 billion. All those will be impacted by these projects, and there are studies to support them. We are only going to get a small fraction of the wind energy needed for 132 residences in Atlantic County. And there are 3.7 million residences in the rest of New Jersey that are be using the rest of these projects and the energy they produce. So 4% of that energy is going to be used by us. The rest will be used for the rest of the state. I have a lot more to say, and I know my time is up. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
We're going to go back to the main question, resolution number 99. Any further discussion on resolution number 99?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Bowles.
So, with listening to, everyone speak tonight, including our senator, and the other commissioners, just like to add, or recommend that we add language that would say, right before the moratorium, add the words 90-day. And, this is something, we don't know how long things are going to take.
No, we don't.
But if the need arises, we can always come back and do it again. But to put a limit, so again, I understand Commissioner Gatto's concern, Commissioner Corsi's concern, that, just having a never-ending word of moratorium in there should, be changed. And 30 days, I don't agree with 30 days, but I think 90 days.
You're making that a motion.
We have, we noticed these whales deaths, starting December. This is February. You're talking about like 60 days, so 90 days, we'll see what changes.
My question is, Commissioner, I don't know if anybody up here knows, I thought the senator said he had 30 days on his, and we were supporting their, resolutions on this, do 90. I'm with everybody here.
I'm fine.
You're fine with 90?
I'm fine with 9. Like I said, I recommended a limit. The senator himself said 30 days, waiting for necropus. Oh my God. That word to come back and the location of the work being done, and is there a correlation between the two? So if we need 90 days, I'm fine with that.
You're going to second that, then?
I second the amendment to the resolution.
So the motion on the table is to amend the resolution wherever it says moratorium to indicate 90-day moratorium.
Yes.
Throughout the body of the.
So we're going to vote on the amendment.
Motion to
first.
amend and then a motion to vote on it after the fact. Yeah.
Are we also
Okay,
adding
we're
language?
discussing the amendment.
No, as a co-sponsor, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Are we also adding language to say that we gotta ask, because if 90 days is not happening, you just brought it up. 90 days, if it takes them longer than 90 days to do the study, then what?
Well, that's not something we need to put into
No.
If it's
I mean,
90
the
days
senator said
passes,
30 days.
we can meet and decide if we want to move forward with something else.
Do you need anything else? I don't wanna have to come back and do this again. That's the point.
Neither do I.
I don't wanna have to do this again. All right, so let's get it right tonight, so we don't have to do this over again. That's all I'm saying. If you wanna put 90 days, I'm fine with it. I'm just saying, whatever language we put in it, make sure.
So in 90 days, we can report back and say we heard something or we didn't. I mean,
90 days. What's your suggestion?
I said my suggestion earlier. I don't think there's a time limit should be put on it.
Yeah.
Sir, it'll be done. I mean, and we've all sat here and said tonight that it's non-binding anyway. There's no teeth in this resolution to force anyone's hand to stop anything, and we're likely going to be ignored. Let's be honest.
Correct.
We're likely going to be ignored even with putting 90 days on there. They're probably going to ignore us anyway. So why are we putting a limit on it for 90 days? When we have an answer, we have an answer.
There shouldn't even be a discussion on the amendment. It was moved in second.
Yeah, we're discussing the amendment.
Right.
Any further discussion on the amendment? I will vote on the amendment first. The amendment is to include 90 days.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
No.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
No.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Okay, I just need a motion to approve the resolution as amended.
All right.
I will make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend resolution 99, 90 days
To approve it.
to approve the resolution.
As
Madam,
as-
as amended. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
No.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
No,
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley.
Yes. Motion's approved. Okay.
Mr. Chairman? So before we move on to the good and the welfare, let me just say to each of them come out, I appreciate your comments, your remarks. Don't think I took it lightly. I said what I said, just the fact that you took the time out to come here, to make your point known. I appreciate it. Don't take it that I didn't hear you. I did, but, I don't agree with the resolution.
Okay, moving on. We have to move on. Yes, ma'am.
I'm with Defend Brigantine Beach. I need information
You have a
packets for
handout?
all of the
Okay, give it
commissioners.
to our attorney.
I'll make sure everybody gets it.
Want me to show how much the citizens have been working on this, doing research, looking into it.
We've
and
been to your meetings.
You have a lot of people who care in Atlantic County. I voted for a lot of you the last election.
Doesn't
Can't
matter.
keep track of who's coming up next,
Thanks.
but I live here, I vote here. We
Thank you.
want you to help us.
All right.
Thank you.
Labeled with pins, so just note that, some to you. Yes, sir.
All right, moving on with the rest of our agenda, we're moving into reports of special committees and coordinating. One like to give a report on any topic? If not, any unfinished business?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I have unfinished business.
thank you.
Jerry, can I talk to Jerry?
Please.
I received your response to the, what were we talking about? PR thing for the?
Yeah,
Okay. And I actually had a long talk with Lauren Moore, and that was great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And so, Commissioner Dallas, I remember your request.
Okay.
So we submitted it to the state for approval. State will take 30 days or better to approve it. I was not aware that we were using state funding. So I told them to not use state funding. Take whatever state funding we're using for that project, move to another project and move non-state funding into the project for flashers. So that's, so the specifications are done, they'll go over to purchasing. Purchasing will get them out much sooner. Like I told you, it'll be done by the summer. This was the flash.
Yeah, we're still gonna use the funding.
We're gonna use non-state funding, because with state funding, the state has to
Wasn't it a
do
grant?
anything.
Wasn't it a grant?
No, it's money, no.
Okay.
We had the choice of using whatever funding we wanted to, with
Got it.
state grants.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
What's the correlation between marketing and?
No idea.
Okay.
I wrote, I think everybody.
I didn't know I
wrote
missed
everything.
something.
Which was brought up here at the meeting.
All communications with Jerry and Jen.
Okay.
Any other topics under the committees of the board? Unfinished business.
We just.
We did that. New business. Not at all. Handwritten communications, petitions. If not, we'll go to the end of our meeting to public comments. Want to have any comments? Here, seeing none?
Public has left the building.
Yes. Anything under the good of the order? Okay, seeing none, I just want to say we're getting near the end of our meeting. And to those who are online and didn't get a chance to speak, you can always reach out to us by phone, by mail, email, whatever you prefer. We certainly would want to hear from you. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. There's a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Meeting adjourned. I vote. Or the devil left alone. I don't know what it is. You want to look at it first?
Yes, we can do.